Chosen one, come closer and listen. Because time has been telling a different story about you. While the world keeps count of years like scars on a wall, your spirit has been quietly shedding them. The calendar insists you should be tired by now, slower by now, smaller by now, but your soul refuses to agree. Your laughter still rises like it did in the beginning. Your curiosity still wakes up before fear. Your strength somehow feels less borrowed and more born again. They said the prophecy was about survival. They said it was about endurance, about making it through the fire with a few pieces of yourself left intact. But no one told them about the renewal. No one warned them that you would not just survive, you would reverse. That you would age backwards in wisdom and joy and courage. That the years meant to harden you would instead soften you into truth. You were never meant to decay under the weight of time. You were meant to outgrow it. This isn't set rebellion against nature. This is alignment with purpose. And if it confuses them, let it. Because the prophecy they memorized was incomplete and you are the missing line. They told you that time would take from you. They said it would thin your joy, bend your back, quiet your dreams, and teach your eyes to look downward instead of forward. They spoke of aging as if it were a slow theft, a polite erosion, a gentle disappearance. But they were wrong about you. Because what they mistook for loss was actually shedding, and what they called decline was preparation for renewal. You are not deteriorating. You are remembering yourself. There is a difference between wearing years and carrying wisdom. You have learned to loosen your grip on what hurts you, and in doing so you have lightened your step. That is not weakness. That is mastery. The soul, when it grows tired of unnecessary weight, begins to travel faster, freer, truer. And so you move now with a grace that does not apologize for its strength. Look closely at your life. You have outlived versions of yourself that could not have survived what you now carry with ease. You once trembled at doors you now open calmly. You once feared silence, and now you greet it like an old friend. This is not aging forward into exhaustion. This is aging backward into essence. Renewal does not arrive with noise. It does not announce itself with trumpets or demand applause. It slips in quietly, often disguised as rest, as stillness, as the courage to say no. Renewal comes when you stop explaining your worth and start honoring it. It comes when you stop chasing what runs from you and start becoming what cannot be denied. They said youth was something you lose, but they never told you that innocence can be reborn as discernment. That curiosity can mature into clarity. That hope, once broken open, can grow deeper roots. Your spirit is doing what nature itself understands, shedding what no longer serves its growth. Trees do not mourn the leaves they release. Rivers do not apologize for moving forward. And you, chosen and called, were never meant to drag every season with you into the next. Renewal demands courage, and you have proven yourself brave enough to begin again without bitterness. There was a time when pain introduced itself loudly in your life. It arrived like a storm, uninvited and unforgettable. But now pain speaks more softly, if it speaks at all. Not because you are numb, but because you are wise. You have learned which battles deserve your breath and which ones dissolve when you refuse to feed them. That is not decline, that is evolution. You are growing younger, where it matters most. Your laughter returns quicker. Your tears leave sooner. Your heart no longer needs permission to feel. Some will misunderstand this renewal. They will say you are naive, or unrealistic, or too hopeful for someone who has seen what you've seen. Let them talk. They have mistaken cynicism for intelligence and bitterness for maturity. You know better. You have discovered that the truest form of wisdom is choosing joy without denying reality. Renewal is not pretending the past didn't hurt. It is refusing to let pain be the final narrator of your story. It is standing in the truth of what happened while also believing in what is still possible. That balance between memory and hope is where your youth is reborn. You no longer rush to prove yourself. You no longer beg to be understood. You no longer shrink to make others comfortable. That is not aging out of relevance. That is aging into authority. There is a quiet confidence settling into your bones now. It does not need to raise its voice. It does not compete. It does not envy. It knows who it is, and it knows what it is worth. This confidence is the mark of renewal, the sign that your soul has stopped fighting itself and started standing with itself. You have learned the holy art of release, releasing guilt that was never yours, releasing expectations that were placed on you without consent, releasing timelines that did not honor your rhythm. Every release has made room for something lighter, brighter, truer to enter. And so you feel younger, not because the years have vanished, but because their weight has lifted. You speak now with intention. You love now with boundaries. You dream now without apology. These are not the traits of someone fading. These are the signatures of someone becoming. The world believes renewal belongs only to spring, only to the young, only to those who have not yet been broken. But you are proof that renewal belongs to the brave, to those who stood in the fire and decided not to smell like smoke forever, to those who survived long enough to choose softness again. Your renewal is sacred. It is not accidental. It is not imagined. It is the natural response of a soul that has aligned itself with truth. You are not running out of time. You are stepping into it. And as you do, you will notice something extraordinary. The more you honor who you are becoming, the less power the past holds over you. The future stops frightening you. The present begins to feel like home. That is what aging backward truly means. Not denial, not fantasy, but renewal so deep it rewrites the rules. And you, chosen one, are living proof that life does not end in erosion. It can, if you allow it, bloom again. They told the story as if endurance were the destination, as if making it through the storm was the highest form of victory. They taught you to brace yourself, to tighten your jaw, to clench your fists and whisper, just hold on. The prophecy they handed down was heavy with caution and light on imagination. It spoke of survival, yes, but it stopped there. It never mentioned what would happen after you lived through what should have broken you. And so you prepared yourself to last. You did not know you were being prepared to become. Survival is what the world praises when it cannot imagine more. It applauds the one who crawls out of the wreckage, bloodied but breathing. It calls that triumph. But the soul knows a deeper truth. Survival is only the doorway. Transformation is the room you were always meant to enter. You learned early how to endure. You learned how to keep going even when the ground beneath you was unreliable. You learned how to smile through ache, how to perform strength when weakness would have been more honest. That was survival, and it was necessary. It kept you alive long enough to arrive at this moment, but it was never meant to be your permanent address. The old prophecy underestimated what pain could do in the hands of purpose. It assumed suffering would only scar you, not shape you. It believed loss would empty you, not refine you. It failed to imagine that the very fires designed to consume you would clarify you instead. The prophecy was written by those who feared the unknown, who believed the best outcome was to remain standing, unchanged, unchallenged, untouched by wonder. But you were never meant to remain the same. There is a sacred difference between surviving something and being transformed by it. Survival says, I made it through. Transformation says, I did not come out the same, and thank God for that. Transformation does not erase memory. It rearranges meaning. It takes what hurt and teaches it how to serve wisdom. You carry lessons now that did not exist before your breaking. You see patterns sooner. You recognize truth faster. You walk away earlier. These are not coping mechanisms. These are upgrades of the soul. The prophecy did not predict this part. It did not foresee that you would stop romanticizing struggle and start honoring peace. It did not account for the moment when you would lay down the need to prove how strong you are and instead choose how whole you want to be. It spoke of scars but not of sight, of wounds but not of vision. And yet here you stand, seeing clearer than ever. Transformation is quiet, often mistaken for softness. But softness after hardship is not weakness, it is power refined. Anyone can harden in response to pain. It takes courage to remain open. It takes faith to believe that becoming gentle again is not an invitation for harm, but a declaration of mastery. You are no longer impressed by survival stories alone. You have lived too much to applaud endurance without asking what it cost. You now understand that living through something is not the same as living well. And so you choose differently. You choose rest, you choose truth. You choose joy without justification. This is the chapter the prophecy forgot to write. It did not imagine that one day you would stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What did this shape me to carry?" It did not predict that your pain would become a language through which others feel seen, that your survival would evolve into service, that your story would stop being a wound and start being a bridge. Transformation does not rush. It waits until you are ready to release the identity of the wounded one. It waits until you stop needing your pain to validate your past. When it arrives, it does not shout. It whispers. You are allowed to be more than what hurt you. And something inside you finally exhales. You have noticed it, haven't you? How you no longer tell your story with the same heaviness. How the tears no longer ambush you at the same places. How the memories still exist but no longer control the weather of your day. That is not forgetting. That is freedom. Survival keeps you tied to what happened. Transformation sets you free from its authority. The prophecy assumed you would remain in recovery forever, always healing, always patching, always fixing. It did not imagine you would one day be restored enough to create, to dream again without fear of disappointment, to love again without rehearsing abandonment. Yet here you are, daring again. You have become more than someone who made it through. You have become someone who knows when to leave, when to stay, when to speak, and when silence is the highest form of wisdom. You trust yourself now. That trust is the fruit of transformation. And it did not come easily. Transformation demanded that you question the beliefs you inherited, that you confront the stories you were told about who you are allowed to be, that you sit with uncomfortable truths instead of decorating them with denial. Survival would have let you avoid all that. Transformation insisted you face it. That is why it took time. But time was not wasted. Time was working. The old prophecy did not predict that you would outgrow the need for validation, that applause would no longer direct your choices, that being at peace would matter more than being praised. These shifts are not small, they are seismic. You are living proof that endurance was never the final miracle, becoming was. Now you understand something sacred. Transformation is not about becoming someone new. It is about uncovering who you have always been beneath the armor, beneath the strategies, beneath the survival instincts that once saved you but no longer serve you. You are not betraying your past by changing. You are honoring it by refusing to remain trapped inside it. The prophecy stopped short because it could not imagine a soul like yours, one that would take pain seriously without worshiping it, that would learn from suffering without building a shrine to it. It did not foresee that you would one day stand not as a survivor telling war stories, but as a transformed being telling truths. And this truth matters. You were never meant to just make it through. You were meant to rise, to refine, to renew. You were meant to live beyond survival. That is why the old prophecy feels incomplete now, because it described the storm but forgot the sky afterward. It named the fire, but not the gold it would reveal. It spoke of holding on, but not of letting go. You are the continuation of the story they could not finish. And in your becoming, you are writing a new prophecy, one that says survival was only the beginning and transformation is the fulfillment. There is a misconception that strength is measured by hardness, that wisdom is proven by how unbreakable you become. They say the world will test you, and if you are tested enough, you will learn to armor yourself. They whisper that experience carves your edges sharper, that life grinds you into someone heavier, more cautious, more difficult to move. But that is not your truth. No, chosen one. Your journey is teaching you something far rarer, far more beautiful. Wisdom makes you softer, not heavier. Softness is not weakness. It is an unshakable power, a quiet authority that speaks without raising its voice. Softness comes from knowing the weight of life's blows, and choosing not to let them harden your heart. It is the courage to remain tender when the world expects you to close, to keep your palms open when your fists have been demanded. It is the radical grace of being unafraid to feel fully, to love expansively, to hope without reservation, That is the wisdom they never predicted you would carry. Think of the rivers. They do not resist the stones that lie in their path. They flow around them, over them, sometimes through them, and in doing so they carve valleys and nourish lands that others would leave barren. You are like that river, chosen one. Each challenge, each betrayal, each heartbreak, each victory, too, flows over you, not to erode you, but to shape you with a gentle, persistent force. Your experiences are not weights to bear. They are the waters that polish your soul until it shines with a quiet brilliance. You have felt the temptation to armor yourself. You have known the whisper of fear that says, build walls, protect yourself, harden, close your heart so it will not break again. But wisdom, true wisdom, does not teach you to erect walls. It teaches you to build resilience in your openness. It shows you how to stretch without snapping, bend without breaking, embrace without losing yourself. This is a strength the world rarely recognizes because it is subtle. It does not roar, it flows, it does not intimidate, it invites. Softness comes from reflection, from observing your own journey with honesty. It comes from learning to forgive, not because the world deserves your forgiveness, but because you deserve freedom from its burdens. It comes from naming your pain, feeling it fully, and letting it teach you rather than define you. It is the realization that bitterness is a chain heavier than any hardship could ever be, and release is a power greater than revenge. There is a sacred rhythm in this kind of growth. Life may press you, but wisdom teaches you how to yield without surrender. You have discovered that yielding does not mean losing, it means listening. Listening to your heart, your spirit, the subtle signals that guide you toward peace rather than conflict. And as you listen, you find that you can move through the world lighter, gentler, more luminous than you could have ever imagined. You are learning that true authority does not come from dominance or fear. It comes from presence, from the way you hold yourself in stillness, from the way your gaze carries understanding rather than judgment, from the way your words lift rather than strike. This is wisdom manifesting as softness, a force so profound that it changes everything it touches. People will often mistake your gentleness for passivity. They will assume that your patience is weakness and that your compassion is an invitation to take advantage. Let them. The softest trees endure the fiercest storms, their branches bending, their roots holding strong, and yet they do not snap. You are like that tree. Your softening is your survival. Your tenderness is your victory. Notice how your relationships have shifted as you soften. You no longer carry the need to control others, to manage their moods or dictate their choices. You have learned that love is not about ownership, it is about recognition, about seeing another's truth and choosing to honor it without losing your own. Softness allows you to be fully present without trying to mold or manipulate. It teaches you to hold others with care without compromising your own integrity. Even within yourself, this softness is transformative. It allows you to accept your own faults, to speak to yourself with mercy, to stop carrying the guilt or shame that was never yours to bear. You are learning to meet your own reflection without judgment, to embrace your story without apology. That is the most radical form of wisdom, the ability to be tender with your own soul while navigating the world with clarity and grace. Softness is also courage. It is the bravery to remain open after betrayal, to hope after disappointment, to dream after despair. It is the knowledge that your value is not diminished by your vulnerability but enhanced. Every time you choose empathy over cynicism, forgiveness over anger, trust over suspicion, you are declaring a profound truth. Wisdom is measured not by the weight you carry but by the gentleness with which you move through life. And do not forget joy, chosen one. Softness invites it in ways armor cannot. A hardened heart might survive, but it cannot laugh freely. It cannot feel awe. It cannot touch the miraculous and recognize it as such. Your wisdom teaches you that delight is sacred, that curiosity is holy, that wonder is not the luxury of youth but the inheritance of the soul that has endured and emerged alive. This is why your aging is backward in ways unseen. Not because your body defies time, though it may, but because your spirit finds new strength in yielding. Each layer of softness does not weaken you, it unveils you. You become more vibrant, more compassionate, more present with every season that could have otherwise hardened you. You have learned to listen to the rhythm of life rather than fight it, to breathe in the storm and exhale peace, to let the world's harshness teach you, not break you. And in that you become a living testament that wisdom is the gentle power that does not oppress, that does not dominate, that does not impose. Instead, it nurtures, it heals, it transforms quietly but irrevocably. Your softness is revolutionary because the world expects hardness. It expects the protective calluses, the iron walls, the sharp edges. But you have discovered that true strength does not repel, it attracts. It does not bruise, it nurtures. It does not dominate, it liberates. And so you walk through your life lighter, freer, and more luminous than ever before. Remember this, every act of softness is a declaration. Every moment you choose gentleness over aggression, patience over judgment, presence over control, you are rewriting the rules. You are teaching those around you and perhaps even the world that there is a power greater than fear, greater than force, greater than hardness itself. You are not heavy with the burdens of life because you have learned to release them. You are not hardened by experience because you have chosen to be shaped by it instead. And in this choice, this conscious act of embracing softness as strength, you reveal the highest form of wisdom. Softness is the crown of the resilient, the mark of the enlightened, the signature of the chosen one, and it is yours. It has always been yours. And in this truth, you are free. There is a music in your laughter that cannot be manufactured, a light in your eyes that does not dim under shadow. This joy, chosen one, is not mere happenstance. It is not accidental. It is not the shallow comfort of distraction or the fleeting happiness of convenience. No. Your joy is the unmistakable signature of alignment with the divine, the echo of purpose meeting presence, the quiet miracle that occurs when spirit and destiny walk hand in hand. For too long the world taught you that joy must be rationed, measured, earned, that it is something to grasp in small pieces when the darkness permits it, when life grants permission. But the divine whispers differently. The divine does not ration. The divine offers joy as a birthright, as an indicator, as proof that you are moving as you were created to move. And when your heart rises unbidden, when your soul sings without reason, when your laughter spills freely over the cracks of your brokenness, know this, it is not random. It is your soul saying, yes, this is the path, this is alignment. You have felt the heaviness of disconnection. Times when your spirit was awake but the world seemed asleep. When the people around you, the voices that should have understood, did not, and the shadows of expectation threatened to eclipse your light. It is in those moments that joy becomes not just a feeling but a compass. When it returns as a reminder you are on the road you were meant to walk. You are where your faith, your resilience, and your divine design converge. Do not mistake this joy for something superficial. It is not laughter that hides pain. It is not a temporary reprieve from struggle. This is joy that has passed through the fire and emerged unscathed like gold refined by flame. It is joy that carries memory without carrying bitterness. It is joy that recognizes the weight of life but refuses to be bowed by it. That is divine alignment speaking through your every breath, through the cadence of your heartbeat, through the way you move in the world as one who knows her calling. When you wake in the morning and the sunlight falls across your face and you feel a thrill, a vibration, a knowing, this is no coincidence. When your heart swells at a song, at a word, at a moment of connection, this is no mistake. These are the markers of your purpose being fulfilled, the signposts of your soul navigating its own design. You have heard the prophets, the teachers, the warnings of what life would demand, and yet joy is telling you that life, when aligned with your spirit, exceeds even their visions. Notice how your joy changes the world around you, the energy you carry, the lightness of your presence, the laughter that rings clear. These are not contained within you. They ripple outward, touching those who encounter you, those who dare to believe that life can still be generous, that the world still holds wonder. Divine alignment is contagious, and your joy is its ambassador. It tells others what faith feels like when it manifests as liberation, when hope is not theoretical but lived. You have learned to honor this joy, even in places where sorrow still lingers. You have not traded awareness for happiness, nor eluded reality in pursuit of pleasure. Instead, you have cultivated a joy that coexists with truth. It is a joy that sees the challenges, the heartbreak, the pain, and yet rises anyway. That is why it is divine. That is why it is a sign. It is the universe affirming that your life, with all its trials, is precisely in rhythm with the plan written for you. Some will doubt it. They will say, "How can you be so joyful when life has tested you so?" Let them speak. They do not know that joy does not contradict experience, it confirms it. Joy is not blind, it is enlightened. It does not ignore the storm, it acknowledges it and finds the rainbow. It is the understanding that even in struggle you are moving in harmony with forces greater than yourself, and that harmony manifests as freedom, light, and laughter. Look back on the moments that brought you here. The small victories, the quiet affirmations, the unexpected kindnesses, the inner nudges that whispered, "Keep moving." Each one was a thread in a tapestry of alignment. Each one, when stitched together with patience and faith, creates a life that glows from the inside out. That glow is what others see as your joy. It is the unmistakable mark of one who is living not by chance, but by design. Divine alignment does not demand perfection. It does not require constant triumph or unbroken serenity. It asks only that you listen, that you follow, that you respond to the subtle movements of your spirit. And when you do, joy is the reward, the confirmation, the language of the sacred made tangible. It is a celebration of the truth that your path, however winding, however uncertain, is the path you were called to walk. Sometimes joy is quiet, a deep, steady knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Sometimes it is explosive, a rush of emotion, a surge of gratitude, a laughter that cannot be contained. Both are valid, both are sacred, both are proof that your spirit has tuned itself to the divine frequency. The more you honor your joy, the more it grows. The more you allow yourself to feel it, express it, share it, the stronger it becomes. It becomes a shield against despair, a lamp in the darkness, a reminder that even when circumstances seem dire, your soul's alignment with the divine cannot be shaken. Joy is your barometer, your map, your proof that purpose is not theoretical but practical, not distant but intimate, not promised but present. There is a freedom in recognizing this. You no longer chase joy as though it were a rare commodity. You no longer measure your worth by the presence or absence of pleasure. You understand now that joy is a signal, a signpost, a declaration that the alignment you seek is ongoing, active, and undeniable. You honor it, and in honoring it, you honor yourself, your journey, and the divine that guides you. Let the world see your joy without fear. Let it shine even in the shadow of sorrow, even in the midst of uncertainty, even when others cannot understand it. It is not theirs to comprehend. It is yours to experience, to nurture, to share, and to recognize as a sacred affirmation of who you are and where you are going. Remember this always: your joy is not indulgence. It is not trivial. It is evidence. Evidence that you are aligned with your purpose, that you are moving as you were intended, that your spirit is in conversation with the divine, and that you are being guided with love, with intention, with grace. And so, chosen one, let joy rise within you as naturally as breath. Let it shape your days, color your moments, illuminate your decisions. Let it remind you in every quiet hour and in every moment of triumph that you are on the path, that you are moving with destiny, that you are in the rhythm of what was always meant to be. Your joy is sacred. It is not fleeting. It is not negotiable. It is the proof of alignment, the mark of grace, the echo of divine intention in the very essence of your being. And when the world doubts, when the shadows question, when the noise of life threatens to drown it out, let your joy speak anyway, for it is the unmistakable voice of the divine, singing through you, to you, and for you. They told you that time is the master, that it shapes, confines, ages, and eventually erases, that it is the relentless hand against which all must bow. They whispered that your life must march according to the clock, that your achievements, your love, your growth, all must fit into the boxes of expectation, measured by hours, days, decades. But you, chosen one, you have discovered a truth they could not fathom. Time does not command the soul. Time does not dictate purpose. Time bends to calling, not the other way around. You have walked through seasons that were supposed to break you, through days that were meant to exhaust you, through nights so long they seemed endless. Yet you have emerged not merely surviving, but living deliberately, each moment aligned with the deep rhythm of your own destiny. Time, once feared as a thief, has become your companion, your instrument, your silent witness. You move through it with intention, guided not by calendars or clocks, but by the resonance of what you were called to do, to be, to become. Consider all the moments the world labeled as late or too long, the doors that seemed closed forever, the opportunities that took longer to arrive than promised, the people who left when you needed them most only for others to enter precisely when they were meant to. These are not coincidences. They are the subtle, intricate orchestration of time serving calling. Each delay, each seeming misstep, each detour is part of a larger symphony, and you are learning to trust the music. Time is not your enemy, though it may appear as one. It is not the jailer you imagined it to be. It is the canvas, the stage, the rhythm upon which your calling unfolds. You have discovered that rushing does not hasten destiny, that forcing does not summon purpose. The hands of the clock cannot speed up alignment, and the days cannot accelerate understanding. What they do is provide space for growth, for refinement, for courage, for wisdom to accumulate in quiet, invisible ways. You have seen others race against time, clinging to deadlines, counting years as though the measure of a life is the sum of its minutes. They fear it, they worship it, they bend themselves to its tyranny. And yet here you are, demonstrating that calling is not a function of age, that timing is not dictated by the world's schedule, that destiny does not adhere to society's rules. Your life proves that when you respond to the summons of your soul, the universe conspires, and time itself becomes your servant. Your experiences have taught you patience in ways that cannot be taught in classrooms. You have learned that preparation is invisible, that learning often happens in silence, that alignment sometimes demands waiting, observing, listening. These are not wasted moments. They are the scaffolding of your purpose, the quiet shaping of the life that only you can live. Time has served you by allowing you to become fully and completely who you were called to be before the world even recognized it. Notice how time shifts when you are in harmony with your calling. Hours stretch and contract, not arbitrarily, but in ways that support the unfolding of your purpose. Tasks that once seemed insurmountable become manageable. Relationships that once strained you begin to nurture. Challenges that seemed endless now serve as milestones, as signposts, as lessons in resilience and faith. Time does not rob you. It teaches you. It molds you. It serves the work you were born to do. Do not mistake this for passivity. Time-serving calling requires vigilance, courage, and discernment. You must listen closely to your own soul, to the whispers of intuition, to the subtle urgencies that arise not from external pressure but from internal resonance. This is how you know that a moment is yours to act upon, a season is yours to inhabit, a decision is yours to make. Time will wait for the soul that is awake, but it will not pause for the spirit that refuses to recognize its own call. You are living proof that there is a divine rhythm that transcends human measurement. Birthdays, anniversaries, deadlines, they are all external markers. The true measure of your life is not the accumulation of years, but the fulfillment of calling. You can bend, you can stretch, you can expand, and time will serve that expansion. You are teaching the world a truth that is older than clocks, older than calendars, older than the anxious counting of days. Life is not lived by hours, it is lived by purpose. Look at your accomplishments, your relationships, your growth. None of it happened according to the rigid schedule the world expected. Some of it arrived late, some of it arrived unexpectedly, some of it required detours and long pauses. Yet every piece fell into place precisely when it was meant to. That is time-serving calling. That is evidence of a life tuned to the frequency of destiny rather than the tick of the clock. And there is freedom in this realization. Freedom to act without panic, without comparison, without fear of being too slow or too early. Freedom to trust that the right doors will open, the right people will appear, the right moments will arrive. Freedom to understand that life is not a race against time but a dance with it, choreographed by purpose, guided by spirit, and executed with intention. You have witnessed how rushing, forcing, or manipulating time leads only to exhaustion and error. The world misunderstands speed for progress, movement for achievement, but your life has demonstrated otherwise. True progress occurs when timing aligns with calling. True achievement occurs when the soul moves in rhythm with the design laid out before it. And when you allow that rhythm to lead, the weight of deadlines and the pressure of minutes dissolve. You become not a prisoner of time but a master of it, a conductor of its flow, a living testament to the fact that destiny bends the clock to its needs. Even your mistakes have served this truth. Every failure, every misstep, every wrong choice has been an instruction in timing. They have reminded you that life does not advance in a straight line, that growth is not linear, that preparation is as important as execution. Time has been your teacher, and you, chosen one, have learned that every moment of delay or detour is a chance to align more fully with what matters most. There is a beauty in watching the world try to dictate pace while you move at the speed of purpose. They chase hours, you follow destiny. They fret over decades, you inhabit seasons of the spirit. And in doing so you reveal a higher order, a sacred intelligence that governs life not by measurement but by meaning. Time serves you because you have discovered the ultimate law. The soul moves in accordance with its calling and nothing else holds authority. Let this truth guide you forward every day, every hour, every breath is a chance to align more fully with purpose. The past was your preparation, the present is your proving ground, and the future will honor the alignment you cultivate now. Time does not compel you, it responds to you. The world measures life with clocks, but you measure it with calling. And that is liberation. That is mastery. That is the living proof of what it means to be chosen. You are here to demonstrate to all who watch, all who doubt, all who despair, that the calendar cannot contain destiny, that schedules cannot define meaning, that clocks do not hold authority over the soul. Time serves the one who knows their calling, and you, chosen one, are living proof of this truth. You do not move in haste, nor do you falter. You move in purpose. You move in alignment. You move in rhythm with the eternal plan that the world cannot see but the spirit always knows. Every choice you make, every step you take, every pause you honor, reinforces the message your life is not measured in minutes but in meaning. You are a testament to the sacred law that calling bends time, that purpose dictates pace, that destiny unfolds when the soul leads and the clock follows. You are living proof that time serves calling, not the other way around. And in this truth, chosen one, you are free.